guests. Thank you for being here with us today. We would also like to extend a very warm welcome to our global audience watching on YouTube Live as well as on Tencent Meeting. I'm Yang Li from Macau International Carbon Emission Exchange, and I'll be your host for the next hour. Today's session is called End-to-End Digital Solutions, Connecting Carbon Credits Buyers and Project Developers. Over the next 60 minutes, we are going to follow a carbon credits through its entire life, from a real project on the ground in Latin America to being issued on a blockchain registry, all the way to the marketplace where a buyer can find it, buy it, and retail it, start to finish. For anyone meeting us for the first time, I want to introduce Macau Carbon Emission Exchange. We are an international environmental products exchange based in Macau. Put simply, we connect the high-quality carbon credits and green certificate products from around the world with the buyers who want them, using Macau position as a bridge between China and the other side of the world, especially Portuguese and the Spanish-speaking countries. Our partners with EcoRegistry also is a big part of that. A few quick housekeeping notes before we start. We love to this feel like a conversation. So please drop your questions into your chat at any time. We'll set aside a few minutes at the end just for questions. And if we have time, we'll talk a few live ones too. Now, let me quickly introduce today's speakers. From the registry side, Jonah Duran, CEO of the EcoRegistry, joining us from Colombia. From the project side, which is Marina Cristina, from Biofix, bring the buyer's perspective, Karen from WeBank, and from our own team here at MEX, our IT director, Wei Changzheng. You'll hear a proper introduction from each of them as we go. So let's get straight into it. We'll start where every good carbon credit begins, at the registry. Joan, the next 10 minutes are yours, but let me set you up first. First, I want to introduce EcoRegistry, was the world's first blockchain-based carbon registry. From based in Colombia, they've grown into one of the most trusted names for the digital carbon infrastructures across Latin America, handling everything from monitoring and insurance rights through to track carbon credits all the way to retirement. They also work directly with governments on national registries under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. And importantly for everyone here, EcoRegistry and MEX are also discussing the integration each other so that every credit you see on our marketplace will tie straight back to the registry in the near future. Joan, maybe it's going to show us how all of that works, and it's over to you. Thanks, you can share your screen.
Thank you very much, Yan Yan. And first of all, let me thank you and thank the MEX for this invitation to this webinar, and thank all the people that are watching us across the globe. So right now in Colombia it's night, but I know it's morning for many of you. So I hope you enjoy this presentation. We are very happy to support our partners around the globe, especially MEX being actually on the other side of the world. So let's first talk about EcoRegistry and the reason why we came to be. The first part I want to introduce to all of you is that EcoRegistry comprises the implementation of three very specific principles. The first one is how we can create transparency, how we can enable that every credit tells a story. So for that to happen, we need to have that all the information that serves as supporting evidence of every single issuance is there on a website where any is publicly available for everybody, so that everybody can check it out, can review that information, and can understand where that units come from. That's the first thing. The second thing is actually creating a platform that enables a workflow where the validation and verification body, the project developer, the crediting program, they all interact through the entire platform so that no information is lost through that interaction. We all recall that, for example, in auditing process, it happens a lot that through email exchanges, WhatsApp exchanges, you end up having many versions of a specific file, for example. But with our platform, you can have all the versions of all the entire process. That's what we call on the origination part of the system. These are these two steps and two very important principles. Then afterwards, what is important is also the connectivity, enabling the connectivity of all those carbon credits around the globe, enabling that connection between MAX and EcoRegistry, where Spanish and Portuguese speaking countries can actually access a broader market that is willing to participate actively and support those initiatives. That requires that we can enhance and enable that connectivity through API interaction, blockchain based interaction, and that supports actually that we are doing, let's say, this job without any double counting issues. EcoRegistry, in a sense, has two very specific platforms. If we divide the platform here, we will see that this first step is what we call a project lifecycle management system. We will see it later directly on the system, where you can see the different versions of all the documents and all the supporting evidence of every single issue, every single unit. All the documentation is there for anybody to check it out. Then on the second part, after the issuance process, the platform behaves as a transactional system or as an accounting registry that enables you to transfer units inside EcoRegistry, connect to exchanges and marketplaces, and this is the connection that we are using right now with the MEX. And then at the end, you will have the retirement, understanding for which purpose you are executing that retirement and who is the end beneficiary. This is all important to maintain and avoid any double issues to have. I'm going to move actually to show you that live on our platform. As you can see here, this is our EcoRegistry system, where you can see many things about EcoRegistry, and we will actually stop on how the registration process works. The registration process actually defines at the end how that specific carbon credit comes to be. And as you can see on our serial number, is very specific because you can track the crediting program, the project ID, the validation body, the quantification methodology, the verification body, the sector, the country, and even which specific unit you are talking about. This is all publicly available here. And but let us move actually to a specific project. If we're going to check the Ser Carbono projects, we can click here and you will be able to access this tab with all the projects here. This is a system that is powered by EcoRegistry but sits on Ser Carbono's website. And you can first, for example, if you're looking for specific projects in a specific country, you can check them out here and you can click the specific ones that you want to have access to. If you go and you can select other filters like the eligibility tax, like we'll tell you in the future, for example, when Ser Carbono is accepted by the Corsia market, then you will see which units are available for the Corsia market or which unit do have a CCP label. That's on the eligibility label that we can define what the units can be used for. In this case, Ser Carbono applies for the Chile green tax, Colima carbon tax, Colombia carbon tax, Querétaro carbon tax, and voluntary compensation. You can also select the different vintages of units you have, and please go on this website and check our different filtering options. You can also download all the information in Excel sheets so that you can access that information later to be reviewed. We are going to enter one of the project examples that I want to share with you today. It's a project that has been developed by Biofix, and Maria can tell us a little bit more about this project later today. But here you will find three very specific functionalities on this project overview. The first one is a general presentation about the project, where you can see the general description about the project, you can see the location of the project, you can see actually the creation date, the validation date, the state the project it is, if it has already been certified before, and actually who the validation and verification body was. And here's a very specific example where we actually interact with rating agencies. And in this case, you can see that the project has an A rating by MSCI. And you can, on clicking here, you will be redirected to the MSCI data analytics platform so that you can check that information as well. This project, as I mentioned before, you can always see the entire documentation about the project. You can see, for example, the project description document, and you can see the different versions of that documentation that act as supporting evidence of every single issuance. You can see the latest version that was, let's say, certified, but you can also see the previous versions and how they were and the different modifications that were executed to that specific documents. Afterwards, you will have the unit's accounting system where you can see that specifically for this project, it's not even just Biofix, the one that owns the units, it's actually the indigenous communities themselves that also have a hold on those specific units. And what this is telling you is that these serial numbers, these are batches from issuances that have these specific issuances. This amount has already been retired, and these are the ones that are still available. You can identify that there are differences between the different serial batches where there are eligibility labels that differentiate to each other. The reason why is because different markets have different ways of defining eligibility. And that's very important to understand. And on the last part of a project overview, you will see all the retirements that have been executed on the project. We can here actually follow this process until we get a specific retirement, and we can download those retirements. For example, in this case, this voluntary compensation that has been executed for 390 units that have been executed here. You can always have access, and this is publicly available. You will have access to the PDF that reports to that specific unit and identifies clearly who the end beneficiary of that specific unit is. As you can see, my PDF system is not working very good, but you can see here that this is the final user of that specific retirement certificate of these 390 tons of CO2 engine. So you can execute it in English, in any other languages as well. So with this, I will end my presentation and thanking you very much and happy to answer questions later today. Thank you very much and back to you, Yanga. Yanga, back to you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks, John. That's very excellent. So that's the registry set covered. Now let's turn to where those credits actually get bought and sold. Our own trading platform here at MEX. So let me bring in my colleague Wei Qiangzheng, our IT director, who leads the team that built the MEX trading system. He'll show you how it works, and Wei Qiangzheng is over to you. Maybe please share your slides.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm Zheng Wei Qiang from the Macau International Carbon Emission Exchange. Thank you for being here. Today, I will introduce the trending system of the Macau International Carbon Emission Exchange, MES for short. I will cover our platform design, key features, how it works, and our future plan. First, let me give you the big picture, our system's architecture. At the top, our terminals and assist channels for retail clients, investors, and brokers available on PC, iOS, Android, and WeChat. In the middle, trending service, risk monitoring, and trending markets backed by our blockchain platform for on-chain trust. In the bottom layers cover system management, financial support, and the connection to external systems, member management, product management, fund management, and the links to the major carbon credit registries. How does a member use the system? 9 simple steps. First, register as a member and open all accounts at once. Then link a registry account, for example, to Vero or Gold Standard. Buy the bank information for money transfers, transfer funds or carbon credits in. Then trade across our markets. After trading, settlement and delivery happen automatically. Members can then withdraw funds or transfer credits out. Finally, they can retire carbon credits and get a certificate to show their environmental impact. What makes MES special? 6 key advantages. 1. Secure and reliable. Multiple layers of security. Data is encrypted. Double authentication for carbon accounts and trades. Everything is recorded and auditable. 2. Efficient and convenient. Digital account opening, no paper. Someday fund settlement, much faster than traditional OTC. 3. Multi-market coverage. We cover contracts, retail, and bidding. We support carbon credits and green certificates. Both large companies and small traders are welcome. 4. Full process traceability. All data goes on chain. With our carbon chain blockchain, we create a trusted system that cannot be changed. 5. Intelligent risk control. Built-in rules for quantity, price, position, and behavior. The system watches for unusual trading in real time and blocks illegal actions. 6. Compliance and regulation. We follow all carbon market rules, support regulatory reporting, and help connect the global carbon market. A quick overview of our key functions. Member registration, open all accounts in one stop. Fund management, buy bank accounts, transfer money, track balance. Registry and holdings, link registries, manage projects, move holdings. Pass-through trading markets, the retail markets for flexible buy or sell matching, the standard contract market for continuous bidding and the agreement transfer, and the bidding market for auctions. Now, let me walk through the user experience. A new user visits our trading terminal. They click visitor registration, enter email and password, get a verification code. The account activates automatically. They can start browsing at once. If want to trade, you need to upgrade to a membership. Choose a member type that fits your role. Trading members include institutions, brokerage, and market makers. Non-trading members include service providers, professional institutions, and strategic partners. You need to fill in company information and upload documents such as business registration, shareholding structure, compliance proof, experience records, and a signed membership agreement. After review and approval, you are good to go. After becoming a member, the next important step is linking your registry account. From the main menu, enter Registry Account Management. This is where you connect your external carbon credit registry to our trading system. Choose a approved registry system, such as Vero or Gold Standing or other, and fill in your registry account information. Linking them to Max lets you bring your verified carbon credits onto our platform for trading. Now, let's look at the project entry. From the menu, enter project entry. This is where you register your carbon credit projects. Initiate a project registration application and fill in the basic project information, project name, time, location, and other key details. Our team will verify the project details against the registry records to ensure everything is correct before approval. If approved, you can see your project information in the system. The project is now registered on Mass and ready for trading. Let's move to the registry and the holding model. If you want to trade a project, you first need to transfer the quantity of the project to Max. If you want to trade standard contracts, you need to apply for the project to be added to a contract. After review, transfer the quantity of the project into contract. Then you can trade it in the standard contract market. You can also start carbon credit retirement in our system. Our team will review and assist you in completing the retirement action, then generate a carbon emission reduction certificate. Now, let's look at the fund management. The system creates a virtual fund account when the trading account opens. Members by their bank transfer money in or out and track fund details anytime. Now let's look at the heart of our platform. Let's walk through the three trading markets, starting with the retail market. The retail market is simple. Members post buy or sell orders, choose the product, set price, quantity, and the minimum trade quality. Others can establish orders. Payment is instant. Credits arrive immediately. We provide round-the-clock service. The standard contract has two models. First, continuous matching. See live quotes, submit orders within plus or minus 20% of the opening price, cancel before matching. Second, agreement transfer for large trades with plus or minus 15% price range. Post intent orders, others response. System match automatically. The bidding market is for actions. Members start a bidding session, buy or sell, pick the project, set quantity and the starting price. Others register and bid. The system picks the winner, price first, then time, then quantity. All results can be reviewed in transaction records. Before I finish, a quick look at our roadmap for areas. First, AI consulting. We are building AI customer service with large language models, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week support for trending rules, processes, and compliance. Second, smart matching. Smart tools help users find the best carbon credit projects with one click purchase. Third, open platform, standard APIs to connect with major global carbon registries, linking China's market with the world. First, blockchain trust, more data on chain, trending, funds, positions, certificates, a fully trusted, fully auditable environment. In short, AI powers the engine, blockchain builds the trust, open platform connect the world. This is a match trending system. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Weichang. So we've seen the registry and the trading platform, but at the end of the day, this market runs on buyer trust, So what does a serious buyer actually look for? To tell us, I'm pleased to bring in Kara Chen from WeBank, China's first fully digital bank. So Kara, over the next minutes, walk us through what your team looks for in carbon credits, the core benefits, the vintages, or the volumes, and how it all fits your reporting. Over to you, Kara.
Okay, thank you, Yang. Good morning, everyone. I'm from the Group Finance team of WeBank and China's first digital internet bank. Today, I would like to share our buyer perspective on 3 core topics, and why WeBank pursue operational carbon neutrality, and why we strategically shift focus towards high-quality forest carbon sinks credits, and the potential benefits if we adopt a digital MRV to support carbon procurement and rigorous carbon verification work. And first of all, as a 100% digital bank, WeBank has no offline physical branches. Our carbon neutrality initiative is not a passive compliance task nor a superficial brand campaign. It aligns closely with our digital operational model and green finance strategy and long-term sustainable development commitments. Let me start with why we strive for operational carbon neutrality. Unlike traditional manufacturing companies with massive Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions, WeBank's emission cover full operational boundaries like Scope 1 direct emissions and Scope 2 purchased energy, as well as Scope 3 indirect emissions across our whole value chain. For us, carbon neutrality serves 3 key purposes. The first purpose is to formulate and validate our inherent low carbon operational advantages, and WeBank has long operated fully online and paperless. We kept optimizing data center energy efficiency and controlling PUE indicators, and promoting green power consumption, and rolling out low carbon transformation across office and procurement. Achieving annual operational carbon neutrality helps us systematically quantify and track and solidify these internal emission reduction outcomes. And the second purpose is core credibility support for our green finance business. Green inclusive finance is one of WeBank's key strategy priorities, and we continue to provide financing support for green sector, including forestry and new energy and like ecological protection. As a financial institution empowering industrial green transition, we must walk the talk on low carbon operation ourselves. Only when we systematically manage our own carbon footprint and deliver verified carbon neutral results can we maintain professionalism and authority in serving our corporate green finance clients. And the third purpose is responding to evolving regulatory requirements and ESG disclosure expectations. In recent years, ESG disclosure standards for financial institutions have become far stricter and stricter domestically and globally. So we have completed annual third-party carbon verification for years running and achieved operational carbon neutrality for 4 consecutive years, with carbon retirement certificate issued by the Guangzhou Emission Exchange. And the continuous carbon neutral practice helps us build a standardized and transparent and auditable sustainable operational system. Next, I would like to talk about our evolving carbon credit selection strategy. In the past year, our offset portfolio included renewable energy projects and wind and solar power schemes under CER and VCS standards. Moving forward, we will strategically increase allocation towards high-quality forest carbon sink credits. For carbon neutrality offsetting, we prioritize forest carbon sinks certified under VCS together with CCB standards, complemented by qualified renewable energy carbon credits. This strategic shift balance financial risk control, environmental integrity, and long-term business scenery. First, forest carbon sinks represent genuine carbon removal assets. More renewable energy carbon credits belonging to emission avoidance projects, which merely prevent new emissions from entering the atmosphere. And by contrast, forest carbon sinks physically capture and sequester CO2 directly from the air. And for financial institutions like us, predominant scope 3 emissions, carbon removal delivers higher environmental integrity and lower risks of greenwashing, and gain wider recognition from third-party verifier and capital markets. Second, for CCB certified forest carbon sinks match our value orientation for ecological and inclusive benefits. High-quality forest carbon sink projects are mostly located in rural mountain regions, while sequestering carbon that expand forest coverage and protect biodiversity and boost the local forest industry and increase farmers' income, which directly contributing to rural revitalization. And our carbon procurement therefore generates combined climate, ecological, and social returns. Now let's move to the next part of my sharing. And from the carbon buyer's perspective, our potential value of digital MRV could bring to our procurement workflow and carbon verification practice. From carbon procurement, assets management, and annual carbon audit perspective, we constantly face 3 major risks like false carbon sinks, repeated trading, and carbon reversal. Currently, we mainly rely on static documents and periodical third-party reports and offline due diligence to manage these risks. And we haven't applied digital MRV in WeBank. So we want to talk about if we introduce digital MRV in the future, it can become a powerful supplementary technical safeguard for purchasing high-quality carbon assets. First, like the digital MRV would strengthen our independent verification capabilities throughout carbon audit procedures. And from the buyer perspective, carbon verification covers 2 critical dimensions: our institutional GHG inventory verification and the validity audit of carbon sinks assets we purchase for offsetting. Under the trading model, we can only conduct passive document view and lacking independent means to cross-check whether claimed carbon sequestration data is accurate. Supported by satellite remote sensing, drone surveys, and continuous geospatial monitoring, digital MRV would help us build an independent verification data channels. And we could continuously cross-validate forest boundaries, vegetation, biomass, and carbon stock changes, and reproduce carbon sequestration calculation following official methodology. When external third-party auditors conduct our annual carbon verification and carbon neutrality attestation, we could provide complete and time-zero row monitoring data, not only the summary reports. This would close evidence gap in the audit trail and significantly reduce questioning risk during verification and reinforce the credibility of our carbon neutral statements issued by the emission exchange. Secondly, digital MRV could facilitate targeted, efficient third-party verification. Under conventional workflows, verifiers spend massive time reconstructing historical data from scattered paper files. With the digital MRV, all the monitoring records, imaginary evidence, and calculation logs would be centrally stored and traceable. Also, accelerated verification bodies could directly access standardized audit-ready data streams. Verification would shift from full repeated data reconstruction to targeted sampling and anomaly checking, shortening audit cycles and lowering overall verification costs for both us and project developers. Thirdly, the digital MRV would solve the long-term verification challenge of carbon permanence risk. Like the forest carbon sink is a long cycle asset, and traditional verification only happens once per verification cycle. Any carbon reversal caused by wildfire, pests, or any illegal logging between two verification events cannot be captured timely. So the digital MRV delivers continuous dynamic monitoring. Once abnormal canopy loss or land use change is detected, early warning would be triggers. And we could also proactively verify the actual carbon loss and require corresponding risk compensation via project buffer pools. And it ensures the carbon credits we hold remain valid throughout the entire accounting period, and avoid invalid offsets assets following subsequent annual carbon audits. Fourthly, digital MRV would standardize evidence preparation for ESG disclosure and ongoing carbon compliance check. Our like WeBank, our annual GHG verification and carbon neutrality declaration require consistent, traceable, and supporting material year by year. I think like digital MRV could automatically achieve all the monitoring evidence in standardized formats aligned with the methodology requirements. And we also could systematically manage carbon assets audit evidence across different vantage of carbon projects, unifying data standardized across renewable energy and forest carbon sink portfolios. This would bring stable, repeatable data support for consecutive years of carbon verification work. For conclusion, for WeBank, carbon neutrality is a systematic requirement for sustainable digital operation, and we adhere to the principle prioritize internal emission reduction first, then offset residual emission via verified carbon credits, and shift portfolio focus toward high-quality forest carbon sinks is our strategic choice, balancing environmental integrity and social value, and also risk control. Looking ahead, we kept observing the evolution of digital monitoring solution in volunteer carbon markets, and digital MRV, if adopted in the future, would serve as I think it would serve as a promising tools to achieve more transparent procurement, enhanced risk prevention, and reliable carbon asset management, and sustainable upgrade the robustness of the carbon verification system. And In the future, we will keep leveraging digital technology stressum and continuous advanced internal carbon reduction initiative, optimize our carbon credit portfolio with more high-quality forest carbon sinks. That's all about my sharing. Thanks, and then back to Yang.
Yeah, thanks, Kara. And honestly speaking, that checklist is the perfect lens for what comes next. Because the next part is the heart of today, the projects themselves. Now to the heart of today, the projects themselves. Maria Cristina from Biofix, one of the Latin America's leading developers of nature-based projects. For over 5 years, they worked hard hand in hand with Afro-Colombian and indigenous communities across Colombia and Brazil, protecting tropical forests and channeling carbon finance back into healthcare, education, and clean water. Maria herself has been recognized internationally as one of the leading women in the carbon market. So, Maria, the next few minutes over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation for me being here. I would like to tell you a little bit more about Biofix. So that was a very good introduction. We are, in fact, a company that's leading in nature-based solutions in Latin America. So basically, we have certified more than 33 million tons of CO2 in all of our experience since 2018. We have also helped the conservation of more than 3 million hectares and more than 6.7 million trees in reforestation in this land. And we also work specifically with indigenous communities and community councils, which are ethnic communities in Colombia and Brazil and Latin America, and also benefiting more than 46,000 individuals from these ethnic communities and protecting more than 131 species with the conservation of this type of projects that we have. So a little bit of where are we located. So most of our projects are located in Colombia and Brazil, since we are very specialized in nature-based solutions in the Amazon rainforest, but we also have in the pipeline projects in Africa, Mexico, and some offices in the US and in Spain. So basically, nature-based solutions are very important, specifically in Latin America, because this type of projects that we call Red Plus projects or ARR, which are reforestation projects, happens or based in territories that are heavily affected by deforestation from several deforestation drivers like extensive cattle or illegal logging, illegal mining, monocultures, among others. So this Red Plus projects come into the territories to protect the rainforest. And because this mechanism recognizes these threats and disparities, this is like a climate strategy to face directly this deforestation drivers and also to help these communities to bring closer the gap between environmental conservation and economic empowerment, because from each sale of these carbon credits that get certified from this Red Plus projects, a lot of the income goes straight to the communities for the conservation of their land, but also for a lot of its own development. So NBA's initiative, they aim for mitigation of climate change, of course, and conservation of biodiversity, reducing poverty and improve the conditions of a lot of families in their territories, to strengthen the capacities of leaders in their communities, empower women in making decisions, and a solution to climate that also has like drivers associated to SDGs. So this is a map of where our projects, specifically the projects that we have with the EcoRegistry platform that Juan presented earlier. So we have 5 active projects in Colombia and 1 active project in Brazil, all with indigenous communities. So for example, in Brazil, we have benefited more than 8,000 families and protected more than 4 million acres of forest. And in Brazil, we have also worked with over 4,000 beneficiaries from these indigenous communities and protected not only forests, but as well wetlands in this territory that's Ila do Bananal. So a little bit about where this climate finance is headed once a company, of course, acquires a carbon credit for its own offsetting. Through investment in this type of red projects, like I told you before, communities are restoring forest areas that have been degraded or deforested, and we also promote value change of non-timber forest products so that they can beneficiate from a commercial or an economic activity that is not the degradation of their own forest. So, for example, in some of the projects like the one that Juan showed before, that was Javi Ipana, which is an indigenous community in the Amazon. They have made more than 12 nurseries to plant for reforestation, to plant new trees, and they have planted more than 178,712 specimens. Also, water access. So one of the investments that communities tend to do is in infrastructure. So 274 water facilities for this type of communities. In infrastructure, we also have access to clean energy. So we're also talking about investments in solar panels or solar powered equipment. And these are some pictures of the actual territories and their actual investment projects that they have made in benefit from these Red Plus projects in the carbon market. Also, a lot of transportation, since we're talking about territories that are very far away from inland, and specifically in very forest areas. The idea is not to deforestate, to make roads to travel by road or by car. So most of these territories are only accessible by river. So they also invest a lot in what's boats for their own transportation to facilitate river mobility. And that's very important as well for the communities to have access to, for example, medics to go to the territories to attend their medical needs, education, professors, everything that's needed for construction of their new infrastructure. It all needs to go through river. So that's why these type of boats are very important. Also, they invest in education. We have 29 primary education schools that were built from zero thanks to these projects, and also health stations, 11 health stations that were not before, all equipped with medical supplies to attend these types of communities. And as well in education, we as Biofix had to extend our help to some of the personnel of the projects of the indigenous communities, so they could also go and study in university in the capital of Colombia. So we gave 2 scholarships as well to women from this community, so they could also have the opportunity to have higher education. So to tell you a little bit about how a project is conceived. So first we have a feasibility of the territory, like that's actually a territory that's been threatened by deforestation, and that's also not involved in another type of carbon project. So once the project is feasible and it's in a enough land for it to be certified, we always have to do, and one of the most important things that we need to do with these projects that are specifically community based is to do a very good approach to the community, which requires, of course, a lot of socialization, a lot of assemblies. uh, Basically, we have to guarantee the full participation of the community, and they have to be fully agree to this project to move forward, and then to, of course, start formulating the project behind a standard, which in this case could be VCS, as Kara mentioned, but of course, Ser Carbono, which is the one backed by EcoRegistry. And once we have this project already formulated and calculated how much carbon credits can come from this project, we go through validation and verification by a third party audit. And if everything is okay, the project gets certified. And once the project is certified, we go into registration, which is the whole process that Juan showed us earlier as well. And once the project is already in its platform, in this case, EcoRegistry, we as Biofix can also help the community, because at the end of the day, we are the developers of the project, and we are also part of this project, but the real owners of this project is the community. So we help them in the commercialization and the trading of their carbon credits, just because we have more capacities to do so. But we also need to keep in mind that everything that this project sells is to benefit them at the end of the day, and to finance them at the end of the day. So with that finance is how the project can finally get implemented, which is to reduce is deforestation, um, is deforestation, um, and also give the community the opportunity to develop as well. And we also give the communities tools so they can strengthen their investment and their own project formulations, which is what they choose to invest in: infrastructure, health, education, and the rest. And also, as a legal approach, something that's very important to keep in mind of this in this type of community-based projects as well, is to apply the safeguards that are required uh, for this type of projects. Guarantee the distribution of benefits that favors the community. So basically, what I was saying, once the credits are sold, uh, majority of that economical benefit goes straight to the community. That's why we have strength distribution of benefits, respect for their full governance and self-determination, since they are indigenous communities and they can determine which developer they want to work with methodology, or which standard they want to work with. And they also have the right to ask um, for actions that have been made from Biofix in terms of the commercialization of their project, and also encourage the community in their sense of belonging into ancestral rights over its territory, so they can keep doing their traditional activities in their forest, instead of also other type of economical activities that could not benefit the conservation of the forest as well. Secure their property rights, and make sure to implement free prior informed consent, which is the authorization of these communities to go forward with this type of projects. So I think that was a good summary of all the benefits that could go through this type of projects in Latin America, specifically projects that are nature-based solution, REDD+, or reforestation projects.
Maria, thank you so much. And I think it's really something to see the communities and the data behind these credits. And let's take us into the part I've been looking forward to maybe some questions. I have got some questions, and therefore have a few minutes. I just maybe pick up one or two questions to some speakers. First, maybe for John. Yeah, this question is for buyer side, from Latin America. How do we make sure EcoRegistry's credits stand up to the international integrity benchmarks people care about,
Thank you very much, Yang Yang. So one of the main things is that through our blockchain system that we enable the entire traceability from issuance, transfers, and retirements, we can ensure that the whole system is secure and that we avoid any type of double counting. So this is the most important thing, that how to secure the entire system. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. And another question is for Maria. Beyond the carbon itself, what other benefits does your flagship project bring to the community? And how do you make sure and report them by your institution?
Okay, of course, the projects, when they are certified, they only certify carbon credits, which are measured in CO2, which is only a environmental benefit. But some methodologies can also allow us to certify co-benefits, social co-benefits as well, and specifically projects that can demonstrate that the money has been used in infrastructure, health, education, energy, transportation. We as Biofix make sure to have the correct monitoring on this type of projects to make sure that the money is being invested specifically in this, and we also help them to formulate these mini projects of investment of this type of this finance that comes from the carbon credits as well, and to certify co-benefits.
Yes, thank you. And one more for Maria, and there's another is what's available to buy right now, and what's the best way for someone interested to start a conversation with Biofix? Maybe could you make more introduction and let more buyers and clients know?
Of course, from the map that I showed you, the five projects that we have in Colombia and the one we have in Brazil, they all have spot availability of carbon credits for immediate offsetting. So just to start a conversation with Biofix, you can send me an email to my corporate email that maybe we can project it. Give me a second.
Or maybe you can drop it in the chat. Let us try to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and thank you, because the time is very limited, and thanks so much. Before we finish, I'll hand over to Jen for a few closing thoughts and the next steps on behalf of us. Jen, over to you.
No, I believe so. No, thank you very much. I believe next steps would be, of course, if anybody is interested, please don't hesitate to contact us, either of us, either the Macau, so MEX, especially, and of course at EcoRegistry, we will be helping you, any of you, to connect with different project developers such as Biofix that are doing a wonderful job in Latin America and other countries as well. So we will be happy to welcome you, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks so much. And that's bringing us, to the end of the day. Just maybe three quick things from me before you go. Yeah. First, I think if you like to follow up one-on-one, whether you are a buyer interested in what you saw today or developer who'd like to get listed, just reach out through MEX or reply to our following up email, and we'll be glad to connect you. And the second, that a big thanks to Juan and EcoRegistry and Maria from Biofix and Carol and WeBank and Weichang, and most of all to every one of you for spending this 1 hour with us. Yeah, that's how trust is built in this market, out in the open and always real. Thanks again, everyone, and take care wherever you are, and you'll see you next time. Thanks so much.